So my title of my speech is, we went to Disney World, but we drove. Disney World is the most magical place on earth. Everyone remembers the fun times we create with the whole family. But have you ever wondered why everyone usually flies to Disney? It's the one thing that not a lot of people talk about when anyone asks about the trip. My family, last October, decided to drive from Omaha, Nebraska to Kissimmee, Florida, where for 4 days we had the best time. When we were planning the trip, we had wanted to make sure we weren't going to break the bank. At this point, we had already spent about $9,000 for 9 people. We decided that we were going to drive all the way to Florida because due to my mom's fear of flying, we were all forced to do the one thing that everyone from the Midwest is fine with, driving halfway across the United States. The first day of driving, we only got halfway through Missouri. We stayed in a small, interesting motel that was in the middle of nowhere for only a couple hours. With just 5 hours of sleep, we were up and ready to hit the road. The day was spent looking out the window, taking quick stops at gas stations. We had lived off of McDonald's and gas station food. That Monday morning, we got up to surprise my sister's kids that we were going to Disney World. And our first park of the trip was going to be Animal Kingdom. The kids thought at this point were thinking we were going to a road trip across the country. They were all excited for the first park. It was spent with a lot of walking around and trying to figure out what to do. It was packed for a Monday. The dinosaur ride was the most exciting ride we went on. This park was a great one to start with since it wasn't too crazy and there was a lot of rides that all the kids could ride on. We did leave the park for a while to swim for a while, and then we went back to do our dinner reservations, which was Rainforest Cafe, which was pretty fun and interesting. There were scary gorillas banging and all the animals are screaming at 15-minute intervals. It was insane. So, Epcot was day 2. The day started off cloudy, but it didn't show any sign of rain. The park was filled with food from around the world, and my family were able to experience different kinds of food. There weren't many rides at the park, but it was lots of fun to see all the Disney princesses. But the day started to get gloomy. Since there wasn't a lot of rides, the kids were ready to just go home. We still had dinner reservations, so we had to stay longer. The problem that rose from this was the fact that my parents were on the meal plan with my sister's family and I. Also, we noticed there was no prices on the menu because the whole experience was $60 for each meal. My dad didn't like anything that was on the menu, so he just wanted chicken tenders. But it was still going to be $60 for the experience of meeting the Disney princesses. He gave in and tried something that wasn't hot dogs. Magic Kingdom, this morning was a little crazy. The morning I was woken up by my niece who informed me that she had thrown up all over the hotel floor. It was 4 a.m. at this time and I was trying to keep a positive mentality because I was really looking forward to go to Magic Kingdom. I heard stories of the fireworks show and the rides, and this was the one park I wasn't going to miss. We somehow made it to the park with no problems and we were able to have a fun time. We did end up leaving the park early to take a nap and then came back to the fireworks show that was the best part of the whole night. When we were leaving the park, there was a huge crowd of all the families leaving at once. We ended up getting back to the hotel around 1 a.m. With our Disney trip finally over, I have come to the realization that we had to make the drive back to Omaha still. Everyone thinks that since you did it the first time, the second time will be a lot faster. That's a false statement. The drive back felt much longer than it should have been. We had to make a quick stop at the beach because we wanted to say we swam in the ocean. We saw dolphins jumping. It started to thunderstorm, so we had to run to the car. And then we somehow decided, let's go eat Cajun food at 11 o'clock in the morning, though we were all ready to just go home and jump in our beds. And then the drive got longer, and I was complaining the whole time. Everybody was ready to just be out of the car and just be in separate rooms from each other. So, in conclusion with this speech, if you are planning a trip to the greatest place on earth, you want to save your sanity for the entire family, fly, go on a plane, make your life easier. Thank you for listening.